Today I'm going to talk shop on these three jazz horns. I'm going to start with a 1960s Martin Imperial, and we're just going to compare that quickly to a 1946 Martin Committee, which is my personal horn. It's not for sale. I'm going to compare the valve blocks and the pistons. The pistons are actually interchangeable. They're the same width and depth, and the ports line up and everything else, even though there's a 20-year gap between the manufacture date of these two trumpets. The other differences primarily between an Imperial or even an Indiana and a Committee start at the lead pipe. Different receiver. This horn, this particular Imperial, doesn't have a reverse lead pipe. Here's the reverse lead pipe on the Committee. You can see where the pipe joins to the bow. It's joined here and it extends quite a distance into the lead pipe. So it's what we call a reverse lead pipe, or a reverse tuning slide. And here's more of a traditional tuning slide where it's short here where the ferrules are and the pipes extend into this pipe and into the lead pipe. The other major difference, besides the receiver, besides probably the taper and the overall length of the Committee lead pipe, is that the tuning bow itself, the crook, this is a straight pipe. The inner diameter here is the same as the inner diameter here. So it's a single bore. The Committee is a dual bore, so this is a smaller inside diameter than this pipe, which is a larger inside diameter, and this is tapered like a cornet. So you have a taper here going into a straight section, and then a second taper going into the valve block. That's primarily where you're going to get that dark, rich, creamy sound from the Committee. Also, the difference in the receiver and the lead pipe makes it a little easier to play above the G. So it's easier to play up high than the Imperial or the Indiana lead pipe. The bells are similar in terms of flare, almost identical. The major difference is when you look at the horn starting from the receiver, you can see that on the Committee the valve block is set back. It's closer to the mouthpiece, closer to your face. Similar to maybe a Bach or a Besson or something where the valve block is pushed back. The Imperials and the Indianas had more of a centered design, a balanced design, which I actually really like. I enjoy playing on the centered block. So those are the primary differences between the Imperials and the Indianas and the Committee. Dual bore horn, different lead pipe, different offset for the block, so I call a wrap. And then we have this third horn, which is a custom build. This is a Committee lead pipe going into a Buescher tuning slide, into a Buescher main tuning bowl. This is not a reverse lead pipe or reverse tuning slide. It's a standard tuning slide, but it is tapered. So this is a dual bore horn, the slightly larger bore than my Committee. The valve block has internal threading as opposed to the threading on the outside of the caps and stuff, the trim. So it's a French design, very similar to the Selmers. So this threads in, the inside of the valve casing is thread. Also, you can notice that the throw on the valves is much shorter, and they're recessed into the block. It's still quite a bit shorter than the Committee or the Imperial. So They move pretty quick, and they're very quiet, and they're super efficient, and I just love them. They're great valves. The Buescher valve block of this vintage is just a great block. So this horn also has a Martin Imperial bell. So virtually the same bell as this horn here, and almost the same flare as the committee. Again, because of the bell and where the crook is on the bell, the valve block is centered. So that's the technical difference of the three horns. They're all very dark. Why are they so dark? I think it's the material composition, the brass that they used, whatever alloy or brass they used, as well as the shape of the lead pipe. In the case of the committee, it's darker than this horn because it also has the taper in the bow. Now for mouthpieces, when you're playing any of these horns, or any horn for that matter, I have what we call, this is a GR mouthpiece. It's a 63M. It's a medium depth cup, and it's a narrow inside diameter, which is what I play. I play a narrow inside diameter. It's just the way my teeth are. So that horn, that mouthpiece fits me. So it's more of a sort of a lead, a lead mouthpiece. It's bright because its inner diameter is small and it's not very deep. So it's my go-to mouthpiece. It sounds great in the committee. It gives it a nice, bright, almost like a mariachi sound. And then we've got this Curry TF cup. So this is a special mouthpiece design made by Curry. It's the same sort of inside diameter. It's a Bach inside diameter measurement. It's not a metric like the GR. So this is a 10.5 inside diameter, not a 3, which is really common. I don't play a 3. That's a very deep cup. Sort of a dual cup. It's got a V design and then a rounded design. And that's unique to this mouthpiece. Now, I know Curry makes these mouthpieces for other vendors as well. I won't name them, but he's the guy that makes them, designs them and makes them. These are great jazz mouthpieces. Because of the deep cup, it adds a flugel-like sound, or darkens any trumpet to sound more cornetish or more flugelish because of the deep cup. It does require a little more blow upstairs, so it cuts back on your ability to play lead a little bit. Not a lot. It's actually a good training tool as well to help you play up high, because there's no cheat, as it were, with the smaller cup. I love this mouthpiece. Just love it. Like I said, you can take a lot of horns and get the second mouthpiece, get the TF cup in your Bach width, whatever you like, and you have a jazz mouthpiece. It really darkens up your horn. And because this horn's a little brighter than the other two, I can play it with this cup and get that dark Chet Baker sound if I'm looking for it, or the Miles Davis sound.